11 days to the much-anticipated Edo governorship election, candidates, party faithful, prospective voters, the umpire, civil society organizations say all stakeholders must get it right this time. In Maiduguri, citizens confront unprecedented flood with uncommon resilience. Also on political update today, some states unveil local government election schedule with Olympic speed. We have these and more on our program. I'm Fisaya Ogunfuyi. Welcome. We'll start with some pictures from Maiduguri, a city experiencing unprecedented flood. What are the concerned authorities doing to mitigate this disaster? We'll see live pictures from Maiduguri streets flooded and residents waking up to this new reality. In perhaps subsequent programs and bulletins, we would feature extensively on what the people in the Home of Peace, Borno State, Maiduguri in particular, are confronted with in terms of displacement, in terms of the challenges of this rising water, where it has come from, perhaps a dam, or what exactly the people are facing. So we will be looking at that and, of course, perhaps get some expert analysis as well. But those are actualities. I mean, the pictures from Maiduguri, as we can see on your screen. Moving to politics now, the candidate of the People's Redemption Party in the September 21 governorship election in Edo State, Patience Ndidiki, at a media briefing in Abuja, has urged people of the state to look beyond sentiment and vote for visionary candidate for the transformation of the state. The People's Democratic Party, that is PDP, at a similar briefing also urged all stakeholders to ensure a peaceful election.
The People's Redemption Party PRP governorship candidate in the forthcoming election, Patience Ofure Ndidiki, is the only female in the race. She believes that visionary leadership goes beyond gender and urged the people to look beyond the incidences of vote buying, gender and party affiliations if Edo must be transformed to work for all.
Edo needs redemption, and People's Redemption Party PRP is bringing redemption, victory, and the key to make sure we open all the good doors of prosperity and progress in our state.
Meanwhile, the National Publicity Secretary of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, Debo Ologoagba, on behalf of the party leadership, is calling for a level playing field in the forthcoming Edo governorship election.
Let the people speak. Let their will prevail.
He re-emphasized that the PDP candidate Asue Igodalo has all it takes to make Edo greater.
I'm still talking about the Edo governorship election. It's barely 11 days to the D-Day, and the Independent National Electoral Commission says 114 media organizations have been accredited to cover the exercise. The 114 media organizations have successfully uploaded the details of 721 personnel. The statement by the INEC Commissioner for Information, Sam Ulumekun, assures all accredited media organizations full access to voting and collation locations, and appealed to reporters to abide by codes of professional ethics, the law and the Commission's regulations and guidelines in their reportage, and observe processes and procedures before, during and after the election. And still talking about the election, just 11 days to the Edo governorship election, earlier I had a conversation with the candidate of the Accord Party. Welcome, Dr. Brighton Abulele of the Accord Party, one of those who have thrown their hats in the ring for Edo people to examine and perhaps also give a thumbs up. Now let's interrogate some of the concepts you have shared with the people at this time. But first, by way of introduction, who is Brighton Abulele?
Thank you so much for having me in your studio. For the audience, especially the Edolite turning to the station worldwide, I want to thank you first for your resilience, your composure to stay focused in electing the next governor of the state who can best navigate the complexity of the land. I am Dr. Brighton Abulele. I am a businessman, a technocrat, a humanitarian champion. It's a pleasure to have me today in this platform to discuss the issues and how we can move the state forward.
How far have you gone in terms of in your interaction with the people getting from them directly what they want in the next 4 years, and perhaps also evaluating the challenges that's confronting them in preferring a solution in terms of a way forward, in terms of what can happen in the interaction between the governing and the governed, as they say, the cliche, dividends of democracy?
Well, we have 17 co-candidates in this platform because they felt that Edo State is on a crossroad. Most of the administrations presently didn't know what to do about it. That was one of the reasons I jumped into this race, to make sure that we have a civilized and an exposed administrations that can not only cater to the needs of the people, but also be able to fight and put the people first. Because when it comes to democracy, it's the ultimate power vested on the people to elect a leader, not only a leader that can also be their governor, a leader that can look at the problem. Because Osadebe House is not a classroom where you go and learn how to govern. It's a place where you go and implement solutions that can actually meet the needs of the people, especially when we talk about social issues. For the past 24 years, our Idolite has been crying just to have water, good roads, and electricity. For me, I don't see that as luxury. I see that as necessity for the people. My main focus is public services, how I can put money in the pocket of every Idolite. Because there's hardship in the land. There's hunger in the land. And we all understand that a hungry man is an angry man. And an angry man is a dangerous man. There's erosion in the state between the government and the citizens. And the people don't care about government anymore. But if I believe in a good administration, if we put the people forward, put the people first, Edo will have prosperity and harmony.
What challenges are you going to confront quickly, perhaps in your first 100 days? Let's begin to look at the particulars. You've gone to the state, you've in your interaction with the people, in your campaigns, you've looked around the state. What are the immediate challenges you hope to confront?
First of all, it goes vice versa. Security and public services. The people are hungry. If I talk about skyscrapers, things that are complex to them, they're not interested. Every Idolite wants to see immediate, I'm going to put on economic rescue plan that will make sure that we create a relief for the people, because we have fake governance and economic sabotage. My administration will focus on the people first. How do I make sure that we have welfare assistance? It never happened in Edo State, where we can be able to straighten our middle class. We want to bring back our revenue. But if the people are not involved, don't forget, Nigeria, to be precise, Edo State is a capitalist country and it's a capitalist state. And capitalisms are built on the private sector. But if we don't empower our people, our economy is going to be stiffened. So I will make sure I look into public services and security so that we can attract foreign investors into our land.
All right, let's look at the people and perhaps in terms of the outcomes of your interaction with them. You speak like someone from a foreign land. Have you been able to communicate properly, and have they been able to digest these concepts?
Of course. Well, you don't need a translation for poverty. You don't need a translation for hunger. You don't need a translation for fair governance. You don't need a translation for security. There's echo in the land. People want change. I mean, I want to, first of all, I go back to 2008 when first Oshomola contested as a governor, the ACN. It was from a minority, not from a wealthy home. Edo people gave him a chance. He was not really too much in politics. They gave him a chance because at that time, we'll always be fighting for a change. One simple thing, a leader that can create an institution to protect the people, not focusing on individualism. And then we shift to Obaseki, the same thing. What is the difference between me and those candidates today? Our characters, our humanisms, our exposures, our knowledge, that governance is not just it's just beyond academia. When you look at the old 3 senatorial districts, when it comes to Edo Central, Edo North, Edo South, my goal is to bring the people together. I've traveled around these regions, just look at government. I've been in Auchi, Boma, I look at everything. It's one simple complaint. Social issues means logistic, good roads, electricity, water. And we're in 21st century, and we are still lacking this stuff in our country.
All right, let's come to, the actualities of it now. If, the possibility of getting the, votes of the people eventually, and perhaps, getting your dreams, moving your dreams to actuality. And that is, you mentioned something very critical in your last submission, that's logistics. Electioneering also has its own logistics. The party support system. How strong is your party on ground in Edo State?
Let's go back to the administrations, the predecessors of the past. APC have had a chance in our states. PDP have had a chance in our states. It's almost like a one-party system. I don't say autocracy is bad. I mean, for us, we want to straighten our democracy. The people are saying, look, we have nothing to lose if a man is experienced and civilized. We want a civilized administrations. When you have a civilized administrations, you are not going to be told what to do, how to govern your people, because you cannot give what you don't have. My experience is so straightened. My knowledge is so across the border. I want to be able to focus on human capital, engage our youths. We have one of the fast-growing youth emerging market in the world. But when you look at it, people always complain our youth are Yahoo people, Yahoo, all this, because the government are not be able to provide, engage them correctly. Government is not just all about security, the welfare of the people. Because at the end of the day, if the people are not happy, we're going to have problems. So I believe Edo is now enlightened.
Time is no longer a friend, but I'll give you, some quick fire answers so that you can, before we close shop. Now, quickly, in terms of expertise, what are you bringing to the table?
Oh, listen, we want to straighten. We're bringing a digital revolution. Want to engage our youth. For me, it's all about human capital. For me, it's all about public services. For me, it's all about welfare assistance. In my 180 days, I want to make sure that we have a rapid economic rescue plan for Edo State, that every citizen of Edo should be attached to welfare. And that's my focus.
And Abulele, you've shared some bright ideas. We thought we wish you the very best on Political Update.
Thank you so much.
That was Dr. Brighton Abulele of the Accord Party sharing his thoughts earlier in terms of what he wants to give to Edo people. He will be on the ballot as far as the governorship election in Edo State is concerned, and that is just in 11 days. Also, on Wednesday, there will be the peace accord, the signing of the peace accord by all participants in that election, and we will be covering and getting sound bites from there from those who have thrown their hats in the ring as far as the Edo governorship election is concerned. Talking about the election, but this time local government election in Kogi State, as the October 19 local government election in Kogi State approaches, Commissioner for Police Bertrand Onoha met with the State Independent Electoral Commission, assuring the public of a peaceful and orderly process in the state.
The local government elections in Kogi State are approaching, and this visit by the State Electoral Commission's management to the Commissioner of Police, Kogi State Command, seeks to strengthen collaboration between the Commission, the police and other security agencies involved in the election process. SIEC Chairman Mama Ndaeri expressed optimism that the security forces would build on the successes of the previous off-cycle election in the state.
We see that you are to coordinate the security of the state, sir. And by the time you are settled with this responsibility, we know you're going to do more than we expect.
The Commissioner of Police, Bertrand Onoha, anticipates a competitive election following the granting of autonomy to local governments, but assured that the elections across the 21 local government areas would be peaceful.
We are not going to lower our guard in the sense that with the pronouncement of the Supreme Court granting autonomy to the local governments, the election, I want to believe, is going to be more competitive.
Leaders of people with disabilities were also present at the meeting to advocate for consideration by security agencies during the election and their involvement in all stages leading to the polls.
The Governing All Progressives Congress, APC, has postponed its caucus and National Executive Committee, NEC, that is NEC, meetings earlier slated for September 12, 2024, indefinitely. A statement issued by the party and made available to the public did not give reasons for the postponement, but such high-level meetings are always subject to the president's approval, that is the national president. The APC says the new dates for the 2 meetings of the highest organs of the party will be communicated in due course. Now to some international diplomacy and some business as well. President Bola Tinubu has reassured that the current hardship Nigeria is facing is just a momentary sacrifice needed for its administration's reform to ensure a better future and more prosperous Nigeria. The president addressed the prevailing socio-economic situation in Nigeria during his meeting with executives of the Nigerians in Diaspora Organization, NIDO, in China.
Time with Nigeria's ambassadors in China. These representatives, with ranging durations of stay here and with experiences in different fields. But then, they had concerns on due recognition in China, government support for small and medium-scale businesses in Nigeria, as well as the renewal of a currency swap policy to ease international transactions. The relevant ministers addressed the issues raised.
It has been a very good trip.
For the president, this trip has opened up opportunities, new ideas, and insight to double down on policies and programs to facilitate infrastructural and economic development across Nigeria. And then, an opportunity for the president to address the current economic realities back in Nigeria. Fuel prices are yet again fueling outcries in town, but President Tinubu is sure aware of the situation, yet confident that Nigerians would soon benefit from the ongoing reforms.
One economic action leads to another. It is in your hand to build our nation. Now is to provide the leadership that is necessary, and I'm committed to that.
And he also wants to go home to make those implementations, not as though we don't have them, but he's going to take them seriously and make sure that we have all of these things. And that is one thing that really struck to us.
He has asked us for his support. We are willing to support. We've heard from him. We believe in what he has said, and he has said that he's ready to work, even with we in the diaspora, to achieve the aims and objectives of his government.
And just before we go, the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Lateef Fagbemi, SAN, says combating corruption requires a unified front to advance the national anti-corruption strategy. This was at a roundtable with State Attorneys General organized by the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission, ICPC, in Abuja.
Constant reminder and national prayer for a blessed Nigeria. But for that to happen, there is a need for concerted efforts by all in their various endeavor. To play their part, State Attorneys General from across the country are in Abuja brainstorming to come up with a strategic initiative that will bolster the anti-corruption efforts across all tiers of government in order to promote good governance.
The issue of anti-corruption, everybody is a stakeholder, believe me. Everybody is a stakeholder. And I believe that in fighting corruption, you must bring the subnationals on board.
We must recognize that corruption is not only it's not a legal issue, but a common enemy hindering national development. I am confident that together we can forge a united front against this pervasive ill and create a brighter, more equitable future for all Nigeria.
Speakers say, as chief law officers of the states, they should be firm in discharging justice in line with the rule of law.
You are attorneys general, and you will give account. When the governor is going the wrong way, you should tell him.
If we don't fight corruption, the things we fail to do to make for a better society, the things we fail to do will undo us.
The roundtable is the first in the series organized by ICPC and is expected to be an annual gathering.
That concludes Political Update. Just to remind you that the countdown is on to the Edo governorship election. Thereafter, the Ondo governorship election. Between now and then, of course, we will be talking to the stakeholders, the umpire, that is INEC officials, civil society groups, of course, the candidates and the voters as part of efforts to capture the imagination of the citizens of the people of Edo State as they go on to determine who becomes the next occupant of Government House, Benin. Between now and Friday, when we come your way again, please play your politics for the greater good and keep it locked on Nigeria's largest television network, the NTA, for news, reviews, previews, and interviews. Bye-bye now.